Lamar Jackson, the news of where he winds up gets the non-exclusive tag, so other teams will be able to claim him. The Ravens can match it. If not, they'll be compensated with 2 first-round draft picks. Where do you think Lamar winds up in 2023? Because really, I think he's like the Jenga piece of what the quarterback carousel will be. Once he's the first domino to fall, we can kind of figure out the rest. Where do you think he winds up in 2023?
And that's funny. We saw that last year where it was like one piece fell and then everything came into place. You know, to be perfectly honest, I'd be pretty surprised if he wasn't still at the Ravens. I just think that is where he is going to end up. I know they have not been able to come to an agreement, and it's certainly taking a lot of time. But at the end of the day, I think he stays in Baltimore, which is not that exciting, which is not what everybody wants to hear. But I just kind of think that he stays in Baltimore. Also, I realized I'm wearing purple, and that was not on purpose. But I feel like I was prepared for this discussion. But it's so weird. I just can't imagine him somewhere else. And I think ultimately they do figure it out.
Yeah, I'm with you there. If not Baltimore, there are several other teams that are in needs of quarterbacks.
There are many teams that need a quarterback.
It's like a third of the league, Tracy.
Yeah, it really is. It's incredible. For such an important position, so many teams just don't have it and aren't even close. It's fascinating.
Yeah, just the third quarterback to win MVP and then receive the franchise tag. First time in 7 years that a quarterback has been given the non-exclusive tag. So I'm curious to see what his open market value is, because we always hear former league MVP, but like, let's be honest here. There are 5 quarterbacks that you can name that are better than Lamar. And we like him. He's very likable. He's done nothing wrong. But when it comes down to the day, like, there are 5 other quarterbacks you'd rather have. I think what this stems back to is you look to last offseason where Kyler Murray gets a big deal, Deshaun Watson gets a big deal. You've got Lamar Jackson saying, wait a second, I'm doing everything the right way in terms of this guy gets $250 million guaranteed, whatever that figure is for Watson. And it's like, is that what Lamar is worth, or is that considered an outlier from a season ago? And I think the owners are saying, hey, the Browns stepped out of line here. This isn't what the new norm is. And there's a real power dynamic. How this shakes out, like, I've got my popcorn ready, because as much as I would love to see Lamar out of the AFC North Division, my beloved Steelers have actually played him okay. Lamar's only got a 2-3 record against the Steelers, Tracy. So how all of this unfolds from a pure marketability standpoint, when I look at the kids, I look at jersey sales, who they want to play with in Madden when they're playing video games. That answer time and time and time again is Lamar Jackson. Well,
and looking just even at this year, if Daniel Jones is getting a 4-year, $160 million contract, Daniel Jones is no Lamar Jackson. So it will be interesting to see how this all plays out. You're right. I think the Browns did step out of line, and for a variety of reasons, that's probably a whole different podcast. Sure. But I think that does create a problem for the rest of the league. But it's going to be kind of fun. You're right. When you said that with the popcorn, I imagine that GIF where the guy gets the popcorn, just sits back and is just throwing popcorn. But it'll be fascinating to see how this all plays out. But you're right. We see where that falls, and then everything else comes into place. So it'll be a very interesting couple weeks at least. I'm sure they'll get this figured out sooner rather than later. But I'm still standing by it that he ends up in Baltimore next season.
Okay, if not Baltimore, then where, Tracy? I'm with you there. I do think he remains in Baltimore, but if not Baltimore, then where?
I know the Falcons said they're not going to pursue him, which I don't understand. But it's the Falcons, so who's to say? I was a little confused yesterday. Did the Raiders say they were not pursuing him, and then they said, well, they're not pursuing him? Because I actually think that's one that could be interesting. Indianapolis could use a quarterback. I was going to go back to the Falcons, but we've already established that. The Saints have got their guy. So that was an interesting one, by the way, because Derek Carr was also a little bit a part of, like, where does he fall? So if the Saints have their guy, I don't know. I'm just having a really hard time imagining him being anywhere but Baltimore. I really am. Even though I think there are a number of other teams, as we've talked about, a third of the league could really use a quarterback. But I think he does make sense in Las Vegas. I mean, I think it works. I just think a quarterback of that caliber with that ability. Now, I say that isn't really how Josh McDaniels runs his offense. So Jimmy Garoppolo may make more sense in Las Vegas, but I don't know. I'm really having a hard time imagining it being anywhere but Baltimore.
My half-baked theory has been the Buccaneers, and once Tom Brady announced his retirement, that's always been my half-baked theory, because it's like, okay, Tom Brady retires off into the sunset, a team that really struggled to run the ball. Player like Lamar, you force defenses to play an honest 11 on 11.
I like this theory. I like this Tampa Bay theory. Also way warmer than Baltimore. Might be a more enjoyable place for him to play. But I like this. I like this theory with the Buccaneers. Okay, fine. I'm going to get on board of your Buccaneer bandwagon. If he doesn't end up in Baltimore, maybe the Buccaneers.
Here's the thing, too. If I'm Lamar from a pure player standpoint, I look at other quarterback matchups. Who's the stud quarterback in the NFC? Jalen Hurts, okay, I'll give you that, just in the Super Bowl. High-flying Eagles offense. Other than Jalen Hurts, who is the guy who is going to be able to produce at a high level? Like, because, okay, traditionally you say Aaron Rodgers, Tom Brady.
We don't know where Aaron Rodgers is ending up.
So who's the stud quarterback that I have to go head-to-head against? In the AFC, it is a gauntlet. In the NFC right now, there's a huge void. So if Lamar is on the move, I'd be more inclined to go to the NFC than I would be, say, another AFC team, just looking at it from a big picture standpoint.
I agree with that. I think that's a really, really good point. And the NFC also, not even just at the quarterback positions, it's just more wide open than the AFC, just also in terms of success. You have, obviously, the Eagles were fantastic last year. I think the best two teams were the Eagles and the 49ers. But in the AFC, what you have, and of course, goes to your point on the quarterbacks, but when you have the Bills and you have the Chiefs and you have the Bengals, you really have team after team who's really strong that you're competing against every year. The NFC is a little bit lighter just in terms of talent and ability. So that is a very good point. And you're right that he's not going against Burrow, Mahomes, Allen, and all of these guys that are, top quarterbacks. When you talk about there are 5 quarterbacks in the league you'd like more than Lamar Jackson, those 3 are probably 3 of them. They're not available, but they are probably 3 quarterbacks that you would like, more than Lamar Jackson. So that is a very good point. And the Buccaneers also are not a bad team.
He's from Florida too.
Yeah, he is from Florida. The Buccaneers need some work. I mean, they would need some building. I think that becomes important too. Like, does he want to go into a team that basically it's a quarterback away? Does he not care as much about that? These are the things that we just don't know where his priorities lie. The Buccaneers definitely had some struggles. They played the 49ers, so I got to see it in person. And, one of the things people said about Tom Brady, does he go to San Francisco because he's not going anywhere. He's done. But did he go to San Francisco because when you look at what they have and you just put Tom Brady in there, maybe they can win the Super Bowl. The Buccaneers would need quite a bit of work. So I feel like he would also need assurances from the organization that they're going to invest the resources they need to get them to a winning caliber team. But that is an interesting theory. And the NFC theory does make a lot of sense, but I'm still standing by my original statement. I think he stays in Baltimore.
I'm with you.
By the way, the Lions also could be an interesting destination for Lamar. I'm just going to throw that out there. Lamar Jackson, the Lions also could be an interesting destination.
Just about broke my brain, Tracy.
You never know. But I think at the end of the day, he's Lamar Jackson. Everywhere is an interesting destination for Lamar, but the Lions, but I do think the Lions have a chemistry and kind of a good thing going there.